It's the Pocket Cows!
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Today we are going to take a trip down memory lane. These are the Pokemon cards that I had when I was in 8th grade and bought when the game first was brand new. I'm going to teach you some stuff about the base set cards that came out. So what we have here is base set, fossil, and jungle. Those are the first two expansions after the base set was released. So we have first editions here, we have shadowless, and we have unlimited cards as well. The three piles are going to be going through real quickly. They're first edition cards, some shadowless, and then this fourth pile here on the right. We will go over one by one case and tell you why I think they're interesting. But we're going to lay down some information right here so that way everyone's on the same page. So this Rattata is from the base set of Pokemon cards that came out. There are some differences, and each of their values are slightly different based upon certain little factors. So let's start with this one on the left. This is pretty easy to explain, this one. It is a first edition Rattata from the base set. It's easy to tell what's first edition because, boom, right there it says edition 1. Edition 1 is highly sought after for collectors. There was one printing of them. It was the initial print. Once they were sold out, they were never printed again, the first edition. This is referred to as the shadowless version. The thing to note about the shadowless version is it does not have the first edition stamp on it. The one on the left does. This one does not. And there is no shadow here on the right. And another way to tell it's a shadowless card is on the bottom. There's a 99 right here. And it's also a 1999 next to Wizards over here on the far right. So what is the difference between first edition and shadowless? First edition, only one print. Shadowless lingered around a little bit. It was like the second printing, kind of like edition 1.5. And then the third Rattata right here on the right is called the Unlimited. This is the one that they printed consistently after these ones were gone and sold out. There were some changes that they did between the first edition and the shadowless versus what they did for the Unlimited. The biggest thing that jumps out is some of the coloring is different. You see the two Rattatas on the left. They are more of like a deeper color purple versus this one on the right, which is like a little lighter color purple. You can also see the HP over here on the top is like a thin fonted red color versus the Unlimited, which is a bolder color. So price variances. First edition is by far worth the most. Shadowless is worth a little bit more, and Unlimited is the least valuable of the three. This is only specific to the base set, that there is a shadowless version. All other sets that I have here in front of us, which are Jungle and Fossil, only had the first edition and Unlimited edition. So shadowless, only unique to the base set. Unlimited has a shadow, no first edition, and it only says 99 one time. It's right here in the bottom right hand corner next to Wizards. See, the 99 here is not there, so this means this is unlimited printing. Also, trainer cards had first edition and shadowless versions. Right, what I have here in front of me is a shadowless Pokemon breeder card. The shadow over here does not apply because trainer cards did not have shadows on the right. The only way you could tell this is a shadowless is based upon the year. It says 99 here and 1999 over here on the right. So this is a shadowless Pokemon breeder card. Again, these are worth more than the Unlimited run, but not as worth as much as the first edition. So shadowless not only applies for Pokemon cards, it also applies for trainer cards as well. Okay, now that we have laid down some ground terms, it'll help us better understand this video and what I'm talking about here. So this pile right here of cards, again, this is called the shadowless versions because number one, there's no shadow. There's a 99 down here and also no 1999. All right, so we're just gonna go over these shadowless Pokemon. So we have Doduo, Voltorb, and most of these are common, by the way. We have Magmar, Charmeleon, Ponyta, Sandshrews. We got Machops. Machops again. Machoke. Charmander. Another Charmeleon. Pidgey. Jinx, Ponyta, Jinx. Diglett. Again, these are all shadowless, no shadow. 299s on the bottom. Well, 99 and 1999. Poliwag, Charmander, Dual, Charmeleon, Tangela, Weedle. Lots of Weedles. Weedles were very common. Metapod, Squirtle, Wartortle, Seal, Starmie, Staryu, Nidorino, Dugong, Abra, good old Kadabra, Haunter, Coffin, Raticate, Rattata. We have a promotional card in here too. Well, at least this isn't a promotional. It's telling you can get a promotional card. I have this card somewhere, however, I have not been able to locate it, but hopefully I will unearth where that card is hiding. Charmeleon, Ponyta, Charmander, Diglett. Yeah, these are shadowless cards. I don't know if these are worth that much in their current state. I mean, they're not played much at all. They're in pretty good shape, but just nice to have shadowless cards. So we're going to move on to first edition trainer cards. The trainer cards have the first edition symbol in the bottom left-hand corner, versus the Pokemon first edition cards have the first edition logo in the middle. Trainer cards, bottom left. So these are just some of the ones that I have. We have Pokeball, Gambler cards, Mr. Fuji, it's cuddling a Pikachu and getting licked by Licking Tongue. We have a Recycle. We have Mysterious Fossil. We have Plus Power and a Super Potion. I guess I forgot that the Mysterious Fossil actually had a health. It actually acted as a benched Pokemon. All right, so moving to the next pile, which is a little bit thicker. These are the first edition cards that I have from the Jungle and Fossil sets. But yeah, we'll go through these rather quickly as well. Point out things of interest, if any. Doduo, Ghastly, Tangela, Magnemite, Golem, Tentacool, a lot of tentacles. We have a Slowpoke. I remember this card vividly because I just thought it was so simple and ridiculous looking versus like all these other ones that are like highly detailed. But yeah, this is one I remember clearly that this one exists in the, I guess it's in the Fossil set. I thought it was base set, but yeah, it just looked, this image is burned in my brain. We have Seadra, we have Kabuto, Horsey, Blown Ink, Ghastly, looking Ghastly, Ammonite, Zubat, Venonat, Weeping Bell, Paris, Spearow, Nidoran, Meowth, Mankey, Jigglypuff, Executor, chilling out, Cubone looking lonely, Seaking, Goldeen, and Fearow. Alright, that's half of the first editions that I have. Most of them are in the Jungle and Fossil set because I was lucky enough to get a lot of those packs. Couldn't get much of the base set in the first edition. Probably due to funds as a kid. But yeah, Fearow, first edition, Rhyhorn, Persian, Dugong, Tentacruel, Kingler, Geodude. We have Krabby. We have Omastar, Cloyster, first editions. We have a Slowbro, first edition. Pretty cool looking. We have a Golbat, Sandslash, Parasect, Bellsprout, Golduck, Grimer, Magmar. I remember this was the second Magmar that came out. Psyduck, Arbok, Krabby, Ekans. Bonus trivia, Ekans is snake backwards. I remember when I learned that, I was like, wow. We have Weezing, Shelter, more Ekans. We have a Graveler, Golem, and another Ekans. All first editions. But yeah, Just have them. Don't know what I'm going to do with them. They just kind of sit there. If there's anything to note about these first editions that I don't know about, please let me know in the comments below. I'll look into them. Like, I know there's errors out there, but I don't think any of these have errors in them that are worth noting. Okay, so now we're going to get to the most interesting pile over here on the right. We'll go one by one. We saw this one already because I wanted to display that shadowless cards do exist in the base set for trainer cards as well. Just look at the bottom and you'll see 99 and 1999. So this actually has more value than an unlimited, but not as much as a first edition. But yeah, so this one is a star trainer card, shadowless, so it still has some value. Next card we have is Sandshrew. There is an error on this card. I didn't know about this until I looked around on the internet. The first edition Sandshrew, it says flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. Reading into the description and how it was fixed later on, it's supposed to say if tails, that attack does nothing. So what it's supposed to indicate is that the opponent's Pokemon's attack does nothing if tails is flipped. However, here it's kind of a little bit jumbled because it may seem like your attack should do nothing with the sand attack, but it's more for the Pokemon you're attacking into. Alright, these two cards are very similar with the same error. We have a Metapod and a Vulpix. If you look at the health, it says HP 70 and HP 50. The older cards were supposed to say the number, so like 40 HP, it's the number, then HP, while these ones said HP, then the number. It's just an ordering error. I don't know if I believe these were fixed later on, but these were the ones that I had that had this error at the top with the HP. So I sleeved them because they're interesting error cards. I sleeved this energy removal trainer card because it's a first edition and it still has some value. So I was like, this is good enough to sleeve. So we will sleeve it. In addition to trainer and Pokemon's having first editions, energy also had first editions. So we have our first edition energy cards right here. So I have two of them right here, two lightnings that were first edition. These are still sought after, so they've been sleeved. I think maybe about $5, somewhere in that ballpark. We have another Vulpix as well with the same error, where it says the HP 50. We'll look at this newer Pokemon card as well. It also says HP, then the number. So eventually, Pokemon cards did adopt this, how they displayed the health, but back in 1999, when this was printed, this was wrong, and I believe they had to fix it. Over here we have more first edition energy. This is Psychic. Again, you can see the first edition in the corner. First edition energy. Hopefully it shows up on the camera. Alright, moving into Pokemon that we have. First edition Hitmonlee from the Jungle set. I believe he is a rare. However, this is not a holo first edition, sadly. I believe Jungle may have been the first set, or Fossil, where they had non-holo versions of holo cards. So basically there is a holo version of Hitmonlee in this set, but I was not lucky enough to pull him, but he still has some value. Same thing with this Hypno, non-holo version, still has some value, but he's first edition. And we have two Kabutops, same story again, no holo. However, they are rare and they are first editions, so they've been sleeved. And to continue this onward, we have two more. We have Vaporeon and Clefable. Again, there's holo versions of these that do exist. I wasn't lucky enough to pull them. It would have been better if they were first editions and holos, but they're first editions and I think rather rare. Moving forward to these three, I did not know this was an error on these cards until I started doing some research. So this is referred to as the Red Cheek Pikachu. These are all shadowless versions. You can see because they have no shadow. So, yeah, they're referred to as red cheek Pikachu because their cheeks are too red. This exists on the first edition and shadowless. I have an unlimited one over here on the right. You can see the cheeks are much more yellow compared to these guys, which have more red to them, but they're considered an error card, so thus they've been sleeved. Moving forward, we have a Magikarp. This is actually worth probably about $10 to $15. It's a first edition base set card, so he's been sleeved. I thought he wasn't going to be worth much because it's Magikarp, but he is sought after. We have Magmar. Not much to say about him. He's base set, first edition. Just one of the harder cards to get out of the set, I would say. Moving forward, we have a Dragonite first edition from Fossil. He is not hollow, sadly. He'd be worth probably about 10 times more if he was hollow. But yeah, he's still worth some value, so therefore he's been sleeved because he's first edition. We have a Pidgeotto, shadowless because there's no shadow right here, and it's $99 over here and $19.99 over there. So edition essentially 1.5 shadowless, still worth some money, so therefore he's been sleeved. Moving forward, we have Pikachu first edition jungle. Pikachu is always a fan favorite, so I had one, so I was like, we better sleeve him. The next one we have is almost the same, except it has a Wizards of the Coast emblem in the corner. I'm not sure what conditions had to be met to get this card, but I have him in my possession, and I'm not sure. If you know, please leave a comment, provide some clarity, but I know this one is worth more than this guy over here on the left. And all just because he has the gold lettering. Moving forward, we have a Pikachu. This one I got myself for seeing the first Pokemon movie with Mew versus Mewtwo. Mewtwo strikes back, I think? No, that might be the second one. Or Mewtwo goes on the attack, something like that. But it was the one with the clones, and just rewatched it recently, and it's way more weirder than I remember. But yeah, this is was only attainable if you saw the movie. Some information, there are errors of this card that exist. The stamp is actually in the corner, and I believe there are 4 cards to this set. I was lucky enough to get the Pikachu one of the set. Just a base set, not base set, a Jungle Mr. Mime here. I thought he was cool. I remember looking at him in the case of the card store that I went to get my booster packs at constantly. I don't even know how we found out they had Pokemon cards because there was no internet back in the day, and maybe we just went in there by chance and saw them. But we didn't even know about like Jungle coming out or Fossil, just happened to find packs by chance. Right here we have a Kabutops. This one is holographic. However, sadly, we don't have a first edition version of him, holographic. Only non-holo first edition. But yeah, got a little bit of value. Moving forward, we have 2 unlimited Gyarados from the base set. You know these are from the base, well, number 1, these are the base set. Number 2, you know these are not shadowless because they have the shadows here on the side. And also, there's only $1.99 on the bottom, and it's right here next to Wizards. But yeah, base set Gyarados, worth a couple of dollars, but sadly not shadowless or first edition. Moving forward, just a normal Fossil Diddle, not first edition, but old, has a little bit of value. He's a hollow foil. Moving forward, base set, not Clefairy, base set Chansey. But yeah, not first edition, but still has some value. It's a part of the limited series. This is, as you can see, this has a shadow. The Clefairy base set, unlimited, as a shadow. Here we go, something good that came out. A first edition Kangaskhan Jungle set. Pretty good. Pretty good. Moving on, this is a Jungle First Edition Butterfree. However, there is an error on this card. I did not know this error existed until I looked around at it. The error is, instead of saying Edition 1, it says Edition D. So someone put the wrong character on the stamp. So I don't know if this is all first editions have that error where the D is there instead of a 1, or if it was only like a subset that had it, but this is an error card. We have a first edition Muck from Fossil, pretty good shape. Moving forward, we have a Machamp. Before you say everyone has a first edition Machamp, this one is actually worth more than the normal ones you see. The key being this, it says first edition. However, this is shadowless. There is a first edition shadowed version that exists. However, that one's like not worth much at all. The shadowless version is the one that's worth more. I believe that shadowed version first edition is not worth much because it came with the deck set. If you bought like the base decks, they had the Machop card on the front of it, and I believe there was only one deck available at the time, so everyone bought that one. So a lot of people own a shadowed version of the Machamp. Moving forward, we were lucky enough back in the day to get a first edition Aerodactyl, not just once, but twice. First edition's pretty cool. Moving forward, I totally forgot I had this card until I was sorting through them. A first edition Articuno. I believe this was the first time you could get Articuno in a card form. But yeah, in very pristine shape. Hopefully gem or gem quality, but we'll see. But yeah, in very, very good shape. Totally forgot I had this card, but glad to see that I did have it. All right, moving forward, we have two cards of interest. We have a unlimited version of Hitmonchan, and we also have a shadowless version of Hitmonchan. This one is worth maybe twice as much as this one, the unlimited, but I would say you can see some of the differences in the coloring. I would say this, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but this looks lighter and this one actually looks darker. And of course, the obvious thing is the shadowing. And also some of the textures on the bottom that are different. Like this is different versus that. And of course the years are different on the bottom. This one will say 1999 only once. This one will say 99 and 1999. Okay, few left. What do we have here? A first edition Dragonite from the Fossil set. I was looking online, this might go for about $50 or so. But yeah, he is in phenomenal shape. I could not find a Dragonair in my old set, so most likely this has never seen play. But yeah, in great shape. I was glad to see that I did have a hollow foil version of this. Okay, moving on to the one I wish I had a first edition version of, or a shadowless version. We have an unlimited base set Charizard here. He has a shadow, so he's a part of the unlimited. No first edition. He might fetch up to $60 maybe, but unlike the couple $100 that a shadowless would get, or a couple $1,000 a first edition would get. But we have an unlimited base set Charizard, which is awesome. So it's very iconic, this card, for the whole entire Pokemon trading card game. But yeah, in phenomenal shape. I think he maybe has seen play only like a couple of times, but I had these guys sleeved immediately when I opened them, which was great because most kids would have totally mishandled them. Okay, and then the cream of the crop right here. We have a first edition base set Alakazam. This card is awesome. Remember when I opened it, I was like, oh, it is 1 of 102. This is awesome. That means he was printed first, but I don't know if that's really the case. I just told myself that. But he is in phenomenal shape. That holo is awesome. But yeah, definitely first edition base set holo. This is the only first edition base set holo that I own and was lucky enough to pull as a kid. But yeah, it is in phenomenal shape. I was actually planning on getting some of these graded, and this one would be an auto include for getting graded. But yeah, he is in phenomenal shape and can fetch, I think, like $160 on the low end, but if he's graded well, it could be like a couple $100, maybe like $300 up to $500 if he's maybe like a 9 or a 10, but he is in good shape. But yeah, save the best for last, guys. All right, that's it for the trip down memory lane. I wish I would have continued playing as a kid, but unfortunately the comic book store by me turned into a cigarette store, so they figured they could make more money selling cigarettes than comics and cards. But yeah, that's the end of my story. These are my cards that I had when I was maybe 12 to 14. Open up these cards, but yeah, kept in phenomenal shape. I remember one of my friends had the Charizard, first edition, but I'm pretty sure he did not keep it in good shape. But yeah, that's it. Please leave some comments. Should I get these PSA graded? I feel like I should. If there's enough interest, I might actually do a video on this. But yeah, that's it for a trip down memory lane. See you guys in the next video.